a few miles ago, and that really just shows you the difference. The women came through in mid-74th for the halfway point, which is pretty conservative. Even though Boston is a challenging course, it's not necessarily a slow course, a super slow course, so that's pretty conservative on the women's side. I think that's why we see that big, rich group, where CJ Albertson took it through in 64 minutes and really went out there and gambled early on. I think that's why we see him alone, but that we also see him really starting to struggle now. The crowds are getting deeper, and he's handling it really well. We've seen her towards the front almost the entire race, and she looks great.
Well, mixing it up with some former Boston Marathon champions, perhaps a new one to be crowned in the 125th edition. More coverage as they work their way to Boston when we come back.
He's run a 50K on a track. He mentally is a very, very tough athlete.
5:16 for that last mile, the 19th mile of the race for CJ Albertson, who has led this from the very first step in Hopkinton. And the crowd doing what they can to encourage him through this next step, and he's reacting to it.
I mean, hey, there's no shame in taking some energy from the crowds, especially when you're in a dark place. That's one of the great things about Boston. Coming through the hills, you go through these neighborhoods, you see families who've been there. That's their tradition. They sit out there and they cheer. And there's no shame in taking some of that energy and absorbing it and helping you to push through when you're suffering a little bit, when you're having a difficult stretch. And I think that's just what he's doing. He's trying to absorb this energy. He's trying to ride it. You know, at this point, he has 7 miles to go, and he's a little bit.
Well, one thing's for certain, that is a very big train closing in, and now to watch what the reaction will be by Albertson. What a gutsy race he's done here on his birthday, and has led the Boston Marathon for more than 20 miles until now.
But that's not necessarily bad. Sometimes you think, I feel really good and I want to know how much I can save and make sure I have at the end. And he has opened up such a large gap. At this point, he should be feeling confident that if anything happens, he's going to be able to respond. He has just minutes to run before he becomes the 2021 Boston Marathon champion, and he is looking great.
Yeah, he's laid down the hammer in these last 2 miles, 4:29, and backs it up at mile 24 with a 4:25 mile. For running the gutsiest race we've seen in Boston in a long time, but once he was finally passed, it was Benson KIPRUTO who used that opportunity. Lemi Berhanu now leading in that battle for second, but here now, warmly welcome to the final blocks of Boylston Street. He will be the 125th Boston Marathon champion, Benson KIPRUTO of Kenya.
He finished 10th in Boston in 2019.
So 2 marathons in 2021 for Benson KIPRUTO, the win in Prague, and now on the streets of Boston, coming down Boylston Street, the Boston Marathon champion, Benson KIPRUTO of Kenya.
Getting bigger and bigger as she runs here, and that's just really, really tough stuff.
Less than 4 miles to go on the women's side. The racing continues into Boston. We'll keep you with the pictures as we step aside.
Yeah, but I'll probably do more things like that, more longer races. The longer it is, the more I like it. As long as it's on the road, I don't like the dirt.
And mentally, what does it take to get through a hilly course like this here at the Boston Marathon?
The hills didn't bother me because in my mind I was only running the downhills. You just got to play to your strengths, and you can't worry about your weaknesses or your moderates, I guess. You just gotta, whatever your strengths are, like in life, you just, do those full throttle. And that's what I did today, and I feel like I got pretty much the most out of myself.
Well, you definitely made some noise today on the course, so thanks so much and congratulations, CJ.
Thank you.